Dear students, we have been discussing the various methods of insect pest control based on the curriculum, and today, in continuation to the same, I would be discussing biological control. Biological control or biocontrol, as the name indicates, is a method of controlling pests such as insects, mites, weeds, plant diseases using other organisms, other living organisms. It relies on predation, parasitism, herbivory, or other natural mechanisms, but typically also involves an active human management role. Biological control is the use of living organisms to maintain pest populations below the damaging level. Natural enemies of arthropods fall into three major categories, that is, predators, parasitoids, and pathogens. Therefore, the study and utilization of parasitoids, predators, and pathogens for the regulation of pest population densities can be termed as biological control or biocontrol. This method can also be defined as the utilization of natural enemies to reduce the damage caused by noxious organisms to tolerable levels. That is, bringing the injury level is not reached and the damage caused is not of economic loss. Biological control is often shortened to biocontrol. Biological control is a form of pest control wherein a living organism is used to suppress the pest. This involves the use of natural enemies against the pest. Here I would be saying that the pest is a pest insect. Examples: parasitoids belonging to Hymenoptera and Diptera mainly are used against scale pest. Herbivorous insects are used to control the weeds. Pathogens like bacteria, viruses, or fungi are used naturally or applied artificially as microbial pesticides to control certain insect pests. Biological control agents are living organisms that increase in number through reproduction in response to pest, so that in nature the balance between pests and parasitoids is maintained. To avoid the hazards of insecticides, efforts are being made to use the natural enemies to control the pest populations. So, because the chemicals have a lot of hazards to the human and the environment, therefore, this method of biological control has got a great significance. History. It was as early as 1888 when the first well planned and successful biological control attempt was made. During this year, citrus industry in California, USA, seriously threatened by cottony cushion scale Iceria portian. It was Mr. C.V. Riley, who was a prominent entomologist, who suggested that the scale insect originated from Australia and natural enemy for the scale from Australia should be introduced into USA. And then Albert Queble was sent to Australia. He found a beetle called Vedalia or Rhodolia cardinalis attacking and feeding on seeds. This beetle was imported in November 1888 into US and allowed on scale infested trees. Within a year, spectacular control of scale insect was achieved. And till date, this beetle controls the scale insect. This beetle is the ladybird beetle, is still being used as a very significant and a very important biological control agent for the scale insect. After this successful attempt of biological control, Many such introduction of natural enemies have been tried. In 1898, this is the year when first introduction of natural enemy was introduced into India. A coccinellid beetle was imported into India from Australia and released against coffee green scale Coccus viridis. Even today, it is effective against mealybugs in South India. In 1920, a parasitoid was introduced from England into India to control woolly aphid on apple, that is Eriosoma lancearum. Then 1929 to 31, again Rhodolia cardinalis was imported into India from US to control the cottony cushion scale Iceria purchasei on wattle trees. In 58 to 60, parasitoid Prosopatella imported from China. In 1960, parasitoid Ephitis diaspidis was imported from USA. Both these parasitoids were used to control apple Sanjos scale. In 1964, egg parasitoid Telenomus species was imported from New Guinea to control Castor semiluper Acacia genata. In 1965, predator Platymerus levucolis was introduced from Zanzibar to control coconut rhinoceros beetle Oryctus rhinoceros. So there are various insects which have been from time to time introduced into India. A few have been mentioned here, but there is a long list of such biological control agents, development and classical examples of biocontrol. At global level, 384 importations have been made against 416 species of insect pests. So there's a long list. Out of them, 164 species, that is about 39.4%, have been completely controlled using these agents. 75 species have been substantially controlled, and 15 species have been partially controlled. Regional Station of Commonwealth Institute of Biological Control, established at Bangalore in 1957, which only works on this particular specific control method. Presently, Project Directorate of Biological Control, Bangalore, looks after biocontrol in India. So, this is a brief introduction, and we would take the main topic in the uh, next part, that is part 2. Thank you.